In the heart of Baghdad once stood the House of Wisdom, Bayt al-Ḥikmah, a beacon of human knowledge, where the greatest minds of the Islamic Golden Age gathered to unlock the mysteries of science, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. Its vast library, filled with manuscripts painstakingly translated from Greek, Persian, Sanskrit, and other ancient languages, was not just a collection of books, but a living testament to humanity's pursuit of truth and discovery. Also known as Khazanat al-Ḥikmah, or the Storehouse of Wisdom, this great library in Baghdad was initially a private library that belonged to the Abbasid caliphs in the late 8th century. Much later, during al-Mamun's reign, this personal library was opened to the general public to encourage educational activities. The manuscripts present in this place were derived or translated from other ancient texts available originally in other languages. For hundreds of years, this place was known as the hub of educational research and intellectual center in humanities and sciences, and remained unrivaled in the world. The scholars worked on the preserved texts and furthered those works through more discoveries. The number of books thrown away in the river can be gauged because the river ran black for half a year because of the ink from the thousands of books drowned to their metaphorical deaths. Ancient works in Pahlavi, Syriac, Greek, and Sanskrit were translated into Arabic and documented. 5 centuries later, the Mongols pillaged this land and looted not only people but also the most valuable treasures, the books that the House of Wisdom held, and dumped them all in the river Tigris. Thus came the end of the House of Wisdom. What was supposed to be the beacon of hope for many millennia perished in a moment of rage. The establishment of the House of Wisdom, its goals and purpose during the 600s AD, Muawiyah, it was the caliph of the Umayyad dynasty. Being a bibliophile, he collected a large number of books in Damascus. He was the first one to lay the foundations of the Bayt al-Ḥikmah. With the help of Christian and Persian scholars, the Umayyads supervised the translation of most foreign works into Arabic. This new ease of access to open knowledge opened wider doors for the Arab world towards development. This was also the Islamic Golden Age, when the Arabs flourished scientifically, culturally, and economically. After the Abbasid dynasty succeeded the Umayyads, the new caliph al-Mansur accounted Baghdad as the new capital instead of Damascus. Following his predecessor, al-Mansur promoted scholarship and laid the foundation of a palace library where learned scholars from all over the world came and exchanged all kinds of knowledge. Their works were documented, translated, and stored in that library. This new library was also called the Bayt al-Ḥikmah, or the House of Wisdom. The next caliph, al-Mamun, was so fond of scientific knowledge that he preferred scientific works over other war spoils. He worked even more towards this cause, the same his ancestors had worked for. This was seen when he claimed Ptolemy's work Almagest as the peace condition with the Roman Empire. In general, Abbasid society was fashioned this way. The academics were given more preference over other professionals. Academia was considered a status symbol. Being the Abbasid Caliphate's capital, Baghdad was already a popular location where many scholars came from around the world. Many prominent scholars like the Banu Musa brothers, the scientists, al-Khwarizmi, the mathematician, al-Jaiz, the philosopher, al-Kindi, the father of Arab philosophy, and al-Battani, the astronomer, were all attracted to the House of Wisdom. Together they produced many remarkable works of their time. By the second half of the 9th century, this House of Wisdom housed the world's most extensive book collection. The destruction of the House of Wisdom. End of the Golden Age in 1258, almost 500 years after the official establishment of the Bayt al-Ḥikmah, the Mongols attacked Baghdad, and a 13-day siege ensued. The Mongols intended to plunder the Abbasid capital and leave the land in ruins. As history narrates it, they did precisely the same. With Hulagu Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, as their commander, they launched a surprise invasion of Baghdad. They demanded the caliph submit to the Khagan forces and support their troops in Persia. These conditions were unacceptable to the Abbasid caliph. This called for a full-blown siege on the area by the Mongol forces for 12 days. Unable to fight back, the Abbasids were forced to surrender to Hulagu and his army. The level of pillage, destruction, and atrocities that Baghdad had to go through is unimaginable. The caliph was immediately executed, while the locals were massacred on a large scale. It was during this siege that all the books from the House of Wisdom were thrown into the Tigris River. Many books were ripped apart and burnt, while their leather covers were kept to make sandals. In his book History of Libraries of the Western World, Michael H. Harris wrote that the number of books thrown into the river was so enormous that a bridge could be formed using those books in water alone, supporting a man mounted on a horse. The only books that remained from this library were the ones that Nasir al-Din al-Tulsi took along with him to Moraga before the attack. Thus came the tragic end of one of the most advanced, developed, and diverse libraries in history, which also marked the end of the Islamic Golden Age. The story of the House of Wisdom is more than just a chapter lost to time. It's a reminder of what humanity can achieve when knowledge is treasured, and what can be lost when ignorance reigns. In those grand halls of Baghdad, scholars of different faiths and backgrounds worked side by side, united not by borders or power, but by a shared thirst for learning. They preserved the past, pushed the boundaries of science, and lit the way for future generations. But when the ink of knowledge was poured into the Tigris, a light went out, a light that had once illuminated the world. Today, the memory of that loss serves as a call to action, to revive curiosity, to celebrate hidden legacies, and to protect the stories that shaped our civilization. If you found this story inspiring, eye-opening, or even heartbreaking, know that there are countless more untold chapters waiting to be discovered. Book Sparkles on Islamic History. Our mission is to bring those forgotten truths back to life, from lost empires and hidden scholars to inventions that changed the world. Movie Camera subscribe to our channel to explore the rich legacy of Islamic civilization, one story at a time. Let's reclaim our history and share it with the world. Hit the bell icon, because history isn't just about the past, it's about how we shape the future.